Welcome to the Paradigm Shift on 4ZZZ 102.1, where we challenge the assumptions of our current society to resist oppression and investigate alternative ways of living, for a world based on justice, solidarity and sustainability. Yes, welcome to the Paradigm Shift on 4ZZZ 102.1 FM. That's your local community radio station that you're listening to. My name's Andy and I will be hanging out with you on the airwaves for the next hour. I'm coming to you this week from Wangan and Jagalingou country in central Queensland. We'll hear more about that as the show goes on. Of course, acknowledging the traditional owners wherever you're listening to this. And I came to this somewhat remote little pocket of the continent because this week is big celebration for the 1 year anniversary of the Waddananggu cultural ceremony that Wangan and Jagalingou people have been holding continuously on Adani's mine site. If you are a regular Paradigm Shift listener, then you may recall this time last year I was actually out here at Waddananggu as well, and we chatted to a few of the crew then about what it means. And actually, going back a long way, I think in 2015 I first interviewed Wangan and Jagalingou people about their struggle against the Adani Carmichael coal mine. And so it's been a very long journey for them, and it's been an honour on the Paradigm Shift to be with them for some of the way. And so this week we're going to be talking all about Waddananggu and what it means. We'll speak to Cody McAvoy, Misha McAvoy and Nathan Jarrett from Wangan and Jagalingou people about what it's been like to be out here on country for the last year in the face of Adani's sizable mine. It builds up a bit more each day, the pile of dirt that they can see, the overburden. But at the same time, they're there on the mine lease resisting and really connecting to their country and their culture. And it's quite an amazing story. And it was a big celebration this week. There's been supporters from all over the country come, and other Aboriginal mobs from all over the country as well come and connect and talk about what it means tactically for protecting country and I guess support each other. So I did speak to Marathunera woman Josie Alec about what it means to be here, and you'll hear that as well. It's been great to be here this week, and for us whitefellas too, it's really valuable to connect and be a part of these kind of events and these kind of cultural movements. We all need to connect with it and recognise the way that we are connected to the environment around us, and the way that these big mining projects like Adani are so destructive to our environment, but also to us, when it comes to climate change and the impacts, and also, I guess, spiritually as well, of what it means to just be part of a society that is so willing to destroy everything for profit, and what we lose out on when we live in that society. So if you didn't manage to make it up here, never fear, tune in for the next hour and you'll hear a bit of what it's all about. Let's start off with a chat with Cody McAvoy, who's been the main spokesperson, I guess, for the last year of Waddananggu.
Wadamuli, my name is Cody McAvoy. I'm from the Wangan and Jagalingou people in central Queensland, just off the coast of Mackay.
And because we're here at Waddananggu, a cultural ceremony that tomorrow is celebrating a year of existence. Do you want to start off briefly telling us about, what Waddananggu is and why it started?
So we started Waddananggu around this time last year. and it was a cultural ceremony that we set up to basically practice our human rights and force Adani to comply with our human rights. So we've created a stone borer circle, and there's been a fire that has been continually running for almost a year now, and there's always been one Wangan and Jagalingou person inside the circle at all times, and there's no foreign things inside the circle. So these three things have been set up and have been continuously operating for over a year now, and it's something that the Queensland government or the federal government or the Queensland police have no right to interject and interfere in our cultural ceremonies.
Yeah, that's one of the, I guess, significant things about it is that Adani wants you gone, but the police haven't interfered at all. There's a Human Rights Act has been used. How much of this was planned, and how much of it has just been the way it's worked out when you have a go?
Yeah, well, originally we were just winging it, and we just come up with an idea to just create a ceremony. We didn't think it was going to last this long. We thought the police would just come in and remove us after the first week, and so we didn't really expect that it was going to go the way it has. And so we've just managed to, evolve as time progressed, and been able to put ourselves in a good position with the Queensland Police, where they have no intentions of interrupting our ceremony. They don't do the bidding for Adani. It's basically a conflict between us and Adani as both landholders, and so it's a dispute between us two, and the police or the government won't get involved.
And it's become something bigger than just about Adani, hasn't it? It's about being on country and I suppose asserting a sovereignty to be on country and connect to it, hey?
Yeah, basically that is basically the main point, that we showed other tribes around the country that you can do it. You can just go and set up and reclaim your power as a original person from your country, from your respective country, and giving them inspiration to stand up and basically fight back as well. So, Waddananggu is basically a lighthouse to other mobs around the country that, if we can do it, they can do it as well.
There's a few other mobs here this week. Have you had much contact with other Aboriginal people around this continent, about doing things similar?
Yeah, so we've got a few mobs here at the moment, especially a mob from down in Yuggera, the Dibbing Creek people. They've been there for over 3 years now. Their fire's still burning, and they're, staving off development of an area that has, it has a massacre site. So they've been going, just as pretty much as long on the ground as we've been going, and we give them inspiration, they give us inspiration. We've had the Cubby people come here that, they were defending Jackie Kundu. We have, mobs from Western Australia that are fighting to protect the Burrup Peninsula, the Murujuga petroglyphs on the stones out there. So we've all got things that we're fighting for, and we just come together. We all talk about it. We all talk about, how we're going to combat this together, basically, and where do we move forward from here.
Now, Waddananggu means the talking, and that's another interesting side of it, is that your attempts to sort of revive Weirdy language out here. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I've revived the Weirdy language, which is our original language from our country, and so I've been teaching people that have come out here the language, and I've used it as a weapon against the Queensland Police and the Queensland government that being on country, I'm afforded the right to speak my language on my country and not be forcibly assimilated to speak English. So it's another cultural aspect to us that the government can't interfere on, because our redevelopment of our language is our human right under Section 28 of the Human Rights Act.
It's been a year. The conditions are getting better here. I was here a year ago and it was a bit more rough than this, but it's still pretty rough, I guess. Has it been a challenge surviving the heat and the rain and things like that?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge, especially through summertime. You know, we've had temperatures up to like 45, 46 degrees, and we've had some pretty torrential rains here where, you know, I've had to sit in the circle where we've had like 200 mils of rain. So it tests your patience and it tests your strength, but it makes you stronger for it. And you know, we're slowly building, slowly starting to you get a little bit more better infrastructure here to make living a little bit easier for the mob to come out.
Well, it's been a year and amazing achievement. I think everybody's pretty impressed that it's gone this long. What's the plans for the future?
So the plans for the future is to basically just keep pressuring the government until we can get a conversation started. It's keep going to inspire other tribes to stand up, and hopefully this will be a catalyst for change in Queensland, if not the whole continent. And it's a beacon of hope for other mobs around the country. So we're going to continue on to continue the ceremony, and you know, we eventually hope to see this northern section of the mining lease turned into a cultural reserve for you know, the protection of our totemic trees and animals, and also the protection of our sacred site here at Waddananggu now.
Yeah, well, it's a big goal, but nobody would have thought you'd be here in a year, so we're on the way, hey? Yeah,
you know, like time flies fast when you're having fun, and that's the main thing. We're all having fun, we're all enjoying it. This is our life, this is what we're supposed to do, and we feel like we're fulfilling our life by doing this, not only you know, for ourselves, but we're doing it for our mob, and we're doing it for our old people. Plus we're doing it for everybody else in this country that relies on water, relies on having our ecosystem stay intact for their future generations, everybody in this country to be able to survive the next, you know, 3-4 generations.
All right, thanks heaps, good.
No worries, brother. Thanks for the chat.
That is Cody McAvoy there. He's been spending the last year camped out on Adani's mine lease at the Waddananggu cultural ceremony. We were speaking with Cody about what that's been like, the purpose of it, and why it's still there despite Adani wanting them removed from the very beginning, and they are still camped there holding out strong. Now, Cody's not the only member of his family that's been spending time out there. Of course, his father, Adrian Burragubba, is a well-known Aboriginal activist and well-known in the campaign of Wangan and Jagalingou people against Adani, but also many of Cody's brothers, sisters, cousins have been out there at different times, and one is Misha McAvoy, who I also spoke to in the last few days. Let's have a listen to Misha.
Hi, my name's Misha McAvoy. I'm a Wangan and Jagalingou cultural custodian. My father is Adrian Burragubba. I'm the youngest out of the entire family.
So we're here, it's the 1 year anniversary of Waddananggu, and yeah, it's not quite the most deluxe accommodation I've ever seen, but how long have you spent up here out of that 1 year?
I come up at least once a month for a week or two. So I drive up quite often. It is quite a long drive. I drive from Brisbane, which is about 16 hours on average. But I spend a lot of time up here to get away from the city, as well as to help Cody setting up things around the camp. It is quite bush living, but also not, because we've got some pretty fancy structures everywhere. We've got our own kitchen, which is cool, you know, instead of just cooking on a fire.
yeah, we're in the bush here, but also for you as Wangan and Jagalingou, this is your country. Does it feel different, camping out on your own country to it would, in some other patch of bush?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I like to get out because I've liked camping, but it's never really been like something that I'm like, yeah, let's go camping. But once we've like come out here, even before Waddananggu as well, when we were down at the unallocated state land and also at the footprint, it just feels different, stepping on my country barefoot and actually just taking that first breath of I'm home, that feeling of like I am actually where I belong. It feels like a big relief, and I can kind of just forget about the city and all the problems that come with it, and it's always really nice coming out here. So I don't mind the drive because the end result is coming out here on country.
Yeah, so there's sort of two parts, isn't it, for Wangan and Jagalingou of here. One is being in Adani's face and being a bit of a thorn in their side, but the other is being here to connect to your country.
Yeah, well, I loved it at the footprint. Like, I think that felt really homey for me. But we are doing such a really great, stance here, even though we're across from the mine, and it's pretty sickening to look at every single time, and especially when they do blasts and trucks going all night. It's still, I can still at least block it out mentally and just really resonate with where I am, right there in the moment. And especially taking time and going down to Dungabula, it kind of just makes me forget about kind of the issues that are happening right now. But yeah, I tell myself we're doing something that is really, really important and that a lot of people should know about, because we're trying to stop this mine, because we're trying to protect our lands and our waters and our animals. So even though that's pretty destructive and pretty upsetting, we're doing what we should be doing, which is protecting country.
And you've connected up with a few other mob from around the country who are trying to do similar things, living on country and protecting it from industry. What's been the importance of that?
Well, I said to Cody when we set up Waddananggu is that we need to connect with other mob, because we're not the only ones having this fight. This isn't just an anomaly. It's happening all over the place, all over this continent. And it's really upsetting, because I've looked so much into all these different grassroots movements, and it's quite upsetting how many people are in this pretty much similar position, trying to fight these big corporations to fight for their land rights, and I just want, because we've managed to get quite a big platform of followers. And I think that it's really important for us to connect with other mob and get their word out, so their movements can grow and get more traction, because I think that it's not just about it's us and we got to look out for ourselves, but even though that we are different mob, like Auntie Josie over in Burrup in WA, we may be completely different people, from different mobs, but we're still the same. We still suffer the same, loss. And I want to be able to connect other people and be we fight this together and we fight as one. And we want the whole of this continent and the government and the world to know that.
And you said, there is quite a platform. You've got a lot of followers and things like that. Is that important? Does it ever feel lonely being out here, sort of, I guess, a small group in pretty rough conditions? Do you ever, feel like it's a bit of a struggle?
Not really. I guess because, I grew up in the city, and I never felt like it was my place. I always felt out of place in the city, and when we've come out here and basically lived out here, it's, I don't know, really, really refreshing that it's just I can be me here. I don't have to pretend to be someone else. And I can just live and actually finally like breathe properly, even though there's a mine, you know, with lots of dust in the air. Like, I feel like I can actually just be me. And as much as it's super fun having 140 people here, it is quite draining, like, at a lot of times, because I've, like, you know, I'm so used to just being in the space of just my family. You know, we do have some people come and go throughout the camp, which has been cool, but they only stay for, like, little bits at a time.
But it's interesting, like, that you're vegan, right? And, like, I guess our idea of Aboriginal living on country, it would be a hunter-gatherer kind of idea. I mean, how for you do those two things sit together?
Well, I think that because I'm not against people eating meat. Like, I'm not against it. It is within our nature. It's a part of our culture. I'm against big factory farms. I'm against breeding animals specifically for consumption. Like, that's what I'm against. I stopped eating meat, I think 7-8 years ago. I was eating kangaroo still at the time, but every other meat I stopped eating because it wasn't good for my body, and I was getting stomach ulcers, and I was sick all the time. So I stopped eating meat, and those stomach pains went away, and I realized that food wasn't meant for us. It's foreign food, and my body just wasn't able to, like, process that. So I haven't eaten meat since then. And the whole dairy industry and eggs, like, they don't work well with me either. Dairy doesn't really work with most people in the world. But, like, I am in full support of, you know, my family going out and hunting food because that animal got to live its life. It actually got to be in the environment and actually live its full life, you know, because we respect the animals. You know, they have a purpose just as much as what we do. So I've got no problems with, you know, any of the boys eating food, like eating meats. I'm definitely the kind of person that's just like, okay, well, this animal has given its life for us, you know, and it's a part of my culture to, you know, consume that animal, to, you know, let that run through me again, you know, because we're all part of the same, like, matter kind of thing.
I guess here as well, you also see the effect of the cattle industry and the spread of weeds and stuff out here on your country as well. That's a thing that you're living with day to day here, especially walking around barefoot.
Yeah, I mean, the bindies and the prickles are just a nightmare, honestly. We've tried to move the cattle away from us because they used to just walk through, like, really close to us, and they're quite annoying, and I don't like the cattle. And especially, like, seeing them, like, destroy the springs as well is quite heartbreaking. I think it's amazing that pretty much all the boys here have, like, and Cody have basically been turned off beef or anything, like, to do with cattle, which has been kind of good because it's like I've kind of been talking about that for a while, but until they saw it firsthand and, like, saw what it's been doing to our own country, it broke their heart, and they've just haven't wanted to put their money, like, put money into that industry.
Do you get many bush foods out here?
Yeah. A lot of the bush foods with Australia is like smaller kind of, like, things, so you got to collect a lot of them to, like, really feel full.
It's good if you're on a diet.
Yeah, and I think that you know, we weren't made to consume a lot of food at once, you know, just more of like a grazing type of diet. But I think we've conditioned our bodies to need to feel full. But yeah, Cody's been showing us some bush foods and bush medicines, which have been really cool to see that, like, even though that this like, a lot of this land has been destroyed, like, there's still bush foods that are growing. And I think that the cattle play a really big part in why a lot of it has been destroyed as well.
Well, it's been a year, and an amazing effort. by yourself and other W&J mob here. What's the plans for the future?
I'm not sure about Cody. I think he'll probably just stay here and live out here. He loves it. I think for me, my next step is wanting to do more and get the family involved with actually starting up programs that we can get jobs for our mob to actually go out and protect country and be able to do backburning and reintroducing like dingoes and things like that. I want to be able to work with Isaac Council up here, and as well as working with some of the station owners, and like I think the main goal for me is to protect country, is to really look after her, because this is our mother. So I want to make sure that happens, and I'm going to start pushing for that.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Misha. Anything else you want to say?
Adani needs to go home and give us back our land. Thank you very much.
You're tuned into the Paradigm Shift on 4ZZZ. On the show so far, I have been speaking to Wangan and Jagalingou, people who have been involved at Waddananggu over the last year, and I've got one more to go. Nathan Jarrett, aka Gundaloo, who's been really trying to map out the sacred sites in this area, which is part of Adani's mine lease where they're camping. So let's have a listen to Nathan.
Wuramuli, Nadalnari Yuri Gundaloo, Ngaya Wadawiri. Hello, my name's Nathan, known as Gundaloo, and I speak the Rudi language.
And you've been one of the stalwarts here at Waddananggu for the last year. Do you want to tell why have you been hanging out here in the bush for the last 366 days?
Well, we're out here on Wangan and Jagalingou land, on my country and my great-grandfather's country, with my family. We're fighting against the Adani mines, known as Bravis now. They are destroying our land, stick raking the land with, stealing our coal, and also, tapping into the Galilee Basin. So we are here to protect our springs, all our sacred sites, and even our native animals and bush foods.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm interested in talking to you about specifically is you've been really active in kind of getting out there on this country and trying to find significant cultural sites and things like that. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, well, pretty much day to day, I get up, I have a bit of breakfast and stuff, and then I get my first aid kit, I get some water, and get a bit of tucker, and then I head out on the motorbikes or take the Hilux, and then I go for various walks, probably for a couple of hours, maybe even all day, and I take a GPS with me and I mark all the sacred sites out here, just to get that evidence out here on the land, and yeah, just connecting with Mother Nature and Mother that we all live on, and walking with my ancestors, doing what they done. But also, marking all these sacred sites is a big thing to us, because the government and all these corps out there, all these big corporations, they think that there's nothing on this land when this land is so sacred with all these sites. And so my job out here at Waddananggu is to make sure everybody stays hydrated and have a bit of tucker, but also I do the tour guides out here and show the land and show the country. So that's a big role for me, and I love it.
What kind of significant sites have you found?
Well, I've come across napping sites where so their ancestors would have sat there for millions and millions of years, and only in the one spot with their artifacts and making all their stone tools and chipping off flakes to make like spearheads or sharp edges for skinning wura. We call that kangaroo. Even skinning the gundaloo, but we can't do that here because that's the dreaming here. But skinning various of animals and just stone tools that we make. So yeah, I've been coming across all those sorts of things out here. Heaps of stone axes, and just making sure that those things are not destroyed. So, you know, I go out there and I mark them off, but, you know, I don't pick them up or anything. So, you know, leave them in the same place. And, you know, it's just always good to go out for a walkabout upon the land and, you know, see all these sacred sites that are still here. And, yeah, just passing it down to the next generations.
And scarred trees, you found many of them?
Yeah, so, yeah, that's part of my job while I'm out here. And so far I've probably come across almost like 300 to 400 scar trees out here that I've marked. And, yeah, they are all over this country. Hey, like there's burial trees here, there's birthing trees, there's all sorts of types of scar trees out here. And you know, it's amazing to see these old growth trees still standing. And you know, even for the natural habitats for all these birds and for the gundulu and all that to migrate up and down these waterlands. And you know, just these scar trees alone tell like a big story, because, you know, there's either navigation scar trees, there's, you know, like I said, birthing scar trees, there's burial scar trees, and you know, we make heaps of things, like shields, swords, nullas, all that stuff out of scar trees. So yeah.
And for you, I mean, what's been the effect of that for your connection to your culture, that like daily experience of going out and finding these things?
Well, pretty much, you know, when I go out there and find these things, you know, the ancestors are telling me, you know, you're not alone. And, you know, it's our job to walk in the footsteps that they did. And, you know, they didn't get it easy. You know, my ancestors didn't give it to the next generation easy. You know, they had to go out and find it for themselves. And you know, in our culture, you know, we are real strong in our culture. And, you know, just to go out there and come across these scar trees, these sacred sites, you know, you feel the fire and the energy that's in that area. And yeah, it's just really, really special to be out here on country among the ancestors, and to be here with my family, and to be here with all my friends and stuff that come out as well.
It's funny, hey, the you know, it's a sad thing that the Adani mine's across the road, and it's, you know, a real threat to this country, but actually it's been amazing the way that it's brought some of you fellas together to, you know, really live out your culture.
Oh yeah, brother, you can say that again. You know, all my family, and you know, it's been a long fight, maybe 10 years, maybe 15 years. It's been a really, really long fight for us. You know, we've been fighting this coal mine since I was a little kid. And, you know, since growing up throughout the years, you know, my mum and my great-grandfather and my grandfather and all my family, they've just been teaching us all by young how to live off the land, but also, you know, fight against the system that's just been rolling us since day one. So, you know, just to be out here on the ground, out on country, to be with the family and be with the friends, unhindered by the police, and, you know, just sharing the culture and spreading it, you know, because we all live here on this beautiful continent, and, you know, we've got to spread the culture.
All right, thanks very much, Nate.
Hey, that's all good. Waddananggu.
I am a mother from this great land. Like every other, I have big plans. My country, family, the things I do. No way in this lifetime I could do without you. I came back home where I was born, and from this place I can't be torn. When things get hard, my family's always there. All my worries, I know that I can share. 'Cause the red dirt here is all the same. The path we follow should have no shame. So when I walk with my head high, and with my spirit, I'm not afraid to try. Said I'm not afraid to try. I'm not afraid to try. Not afraid to try. The red dirt here is all the same. The red dirt here is all the same. The red dirt here is all the same. The red dirt here is all the same.
You're on the Paradigm Shift on 4ZZZ. Before that song, we were speaking with Gundulu, Nathan Jarrett, about the Waddananggu cultural ceremony on Adani's mine lease that he's been a part of for the last year. It is celebrating its 1 year anniversary today. And that song just there was Josie Alec, who is a Matathunia woman from over in the Pilbara region in Western Australia, a long way away from here. But she's been here at Waddananggu this week to celebrate with the Wangan and Jagalingou mob and to, I guess, talk a bit about shared struggles, because over there on the Burrup Peninsula, the Murujuga rock art, which is a sacred historic site for Josie's people as well as a number of other Aboriginal groups in the Pilbara region, is under threat, dual threat from fertiliser plants. There is already one fertiliser plant and another one has just been approved actually this week while Josie's been here at Waddananggu by Federal Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek, the Perdaman fertiliser plant. But also there's already two gas processing plants on the Burrup Peninsula, and with the proposed Scarborough gas project from Woodside, those would both be expanded. And the worry is that industrial expansion on that very sacred place threatens this incredible rock art. I have been over there to have a look at it, and it is an amazing gallery of petroglyphs in an incredible landscape, and certainly not worth risking for the sake of building more industrial processing facilities for massive corporations there on the Burrup Peninsula. If you're a regular listener to the Paradigm Shift, you might remember a few weeks ago, actually I was over there at the Burrup Peninsula and we did a show about that campaign. But I grabbed Josie this week as well and we had another little chat about what it means to connect these struggles.
Okay, I'm Josie Alec and I'm a Guruma Matathunia from the Pilbara in WA.
And you've come over here to Waddananggu to be part of the celebrations for 1 year of occupation. How did you end up here?
Oh, look, we've been following on Facebook since they've been here, and used to just shout out to all the girls on Facebook, and then sort of started messaging each other, and bang, like nearly a year later we're here. So yeah, we've just kept a really good connection with them because their struggles, a lot like ours. So
yeah, well, let's talk briefly about that, the struggle of Murujuga rock art and things like that against extractive industries. What's happening over there in the Burrup Peninsula?
Oh, look, okay, so we put Section 9 into Tanya Plibersek's office, the Minister for Environment. Just on Monday, we have heard that she has rejected that Section 9. Basically saying that the Murujuga Aboriginal Corporation is, the only ones that can talk for that country. Even though she came there last Monday and she spoke to Raylan Cooper, and my daughter was out on country, she still, didn't, sort of hasn't really got the full picture or the full story of what happens there. But I suppose, this is what's happening all around Australia with corporations and land councils and, Aboriginal corporations that are talking on behalf of the people, is that they are, getting the traditional owners are fighting for no more industry and, no more destruction of country. are just getting pushed to one side.
Yeah, it is similar. So you've got fertiliser plant and Santos's Northwest Shelf gas refineries there, and it is harming the traditional rock art that's there on the Burrup Peninsula, and so there's similarities there with these extractive industries coming in and just riding roughshod over Aboriginal traditional rights. But it's also there's, I guess, the supposed validity of Indigenous land use agreements and things like that, and the fight against that kind of system is a similar thing there to here, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. There's, you're fighting, you're trying to fight for your sacred sites and your cultural rights and your birthrights in a system that doesn't recognise them. So when we look at it from here, I mean, we just went to some sacred sites yesterday. These guys had taken us out, and I just cry because talking about it, because it was so powerful that you could think one day it's there and the next day it's going to be gone. This is water, fresh water that comes from Mother Earth. This is a spring that's been looked after by ancestors for so long, and it's the same thing on our country. Is that there are springs there are water systems, there are sacred sites that keep that country stable and sustainable in a way for Mother Earth, for humanity, for humans, for life to keep creating over and over again, like it has been for all these years. And it's not only in that place. It's here. It's all around the place where you find the mob trying to fight a system that's just it's so corrupt. It's not funny.
Yeah, and co-opts Aboriginal culture with this language of land use agreements and things like that, and so then these companies can say, "Oh, we've got Indigenous approval."
Yeah, that's right, exactly. And there's Indigenous people, all around the place that want to save country, and then there's some that are really blinded by money, I suppose, and trying to get what they can out of the system. And I suppose that's a mentality that we've been brought up with, and and that's the way that our culture is going to get lost. Is that the more people that are going against what their birthright is, and looking after country, instead of getting on board with mining companies and industry to keep desecrating and destructing country. This is a whole fight in itself. So for us, we're fighting for our birthrights, but we're also conquer and divide is what the government do, and industry. They conquer and divide, and so these people that are at the top speaking on behalf of people who have stories and who have been locked out at the gate and blocked through native title systems and stuff like that. This is what's going on here. So we've got a big fight on our hands, and I think unity is going to save the day. We're going to unite, and basically, hopefully, our own mob's going to wake up and go, well, actually, what I'm doing isn't right. And there's so much more worth in our culture than there is in any industry or money. They're money-making schemes for us mob as well, I suppose. So when we think about our culture and we think about every aspect of it, it is rich. It is so rich, it's not funny. And people are starting to look at us for help, for fires, for country, looking after country, and that's what it's all about.
So after this week, you'll go back over west to your own country, but what does it mean for you to have been here and joined with Wangan and Jagalingou and other mob and sat down for a week?
Oh, look, being here with the Wangan Jagalingou mob is just incredible. They are such beautiful people. The kids are amazing, right down to the babies, to the old people. Just I have so much love and respect for this family here, because they stand up just so strong, and it really, it is really something that we can all look at and be, as Aboriginal people and say, look, these guys are doing this. These guys have been on country for nearly a year now. Tomorrow's a year. So, and that's what we're doing. I mean, I can't like get over it, get up and pinch myself and go, well, I'm here, and I'm staying a week with some of my most deadly people, the most deadly family, and they become like my family too. I'll never forget them, and we'll always stay in contact because it's amazing time for us as Aboriginal people, and really amazing time, to be somewhere really special as well. So yeah, hopefully they can come over to my country and we can go out and show them out there as well. Yeah. So yeah.
All right, thanks very much, Josie.
No worries, thank you.
On the Paradigm Shift on 4ZZZ, that is Josie Alec there, talking about the connections between the Wangan and Jagalingou people struggle against Adani and the campaign to protect sacred Aboriginal sites at Murrujuga on the Burrup Peninsula. If you want to find out more about that campaign over west, saveoursonglines.org is the website, or Save the Burrup, Save Our Songlines on social media. And of course, Waddananggu as well, you can follow it. It is Wangan and Jagalingou Standing Our Ground is the name of the social media and website. And you can come up here. You're probably too late by the time you get here to join in the celebrations for 1 year of reoccupation that have been going on this week. But you can always drop in. Company is certainly welcomed by people here. It's somewhat rough conditions at times, but it is a welcoming space and a remarkable feat to have stayed here 1 year. I'd certainly take my hat off to the small group of skeleton crew who have kept the fire burning, metaphorically and literally, while hundreds of people have come and gone over the last year. We're just about out of time on the Paradigm Shift. See you next week.